So here is the famous Scottish Gracenote tutorial that I've been talking about in all of the other lessons, which I hope you've been watching. Scottish grace notes, like grace notes actually in any tradition, really help make the tune. If you don't put in the things that kind of flavor or cause the accent of the tune, then, you could just be playing. It doesn't necessarily sound like music. It just sounds like notes. So these are some things I'm going to show you that in the Scottish fiddle tradition make a tune sound Scottish. And a lot of these grace notes have been influenced by bagpipes from Scotland or by the singing traditions of Scotland. And then others are very fiddle-centric. This next grace note is called the wiggle. Sometimes it's called the Cape Breton wiggle. It is a little bit similar to the classical grace note called the mordant, but I feel like it's not quite as neat and precise as that. It's a backwards grace note, so if you're playing the note B, you're going to lift up your first finger and bring it back down again. Now, when you end up playing a fast tune, it's similar to the flick, where the flick you're not actually going all the way to the fingerboard. You just hit the surface of the string. The wiggle has some similar characteristics in that you don't necessarily bring your finger all the way off the string when you play it. You just relieve the pressure and then put it back down again. Sometimes I lift it all the way off if I want a really clear sound, but most of the time I want this kind of sound, which just involves lifting the pressure. While you're doing that with your left hand, it's actually important to kind of crash down or bite the string with your right hand, with your bow hand. So without the left hand, it sounds like this. Or, and with them put together, it sounds like this. And you can practice a scale, maybe an A major scale. I don't actually do them on my fourth finger that much, but it's always good to practice something like that. The wiggle is one of my favorite grace notes because it really gets across this kind of wild, percussive kind of sound, and I like putting that in most of my tunes. So that is the wiggle, also called the Cape Breton wiggle.